Imagine earning a six-figure salary in real estate without chasing shining objects or burning out. In today's episode, we're going to break down exactly how you can land a six-figure salary in real estate through building multiple streams of income, because it is so much more than just selling houses.
Welcome to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things real estate, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success. I'm your co-host, Curtis Haddock, alongside Casey Tudor and Brooke Massey.
Hello.
Good to have you guys.
Hello. Thanks for having us again.
Good morning. Good morning.
If you guys like today's content, please like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate everyone out there that is listening and or watching. Or if you're watching, hopefully you're listening
both.
too. Yeah. Welcome.
At the same time, that means you're extra talented. Today, we're going to talk about, building wealth. And the first thing that you have to get away from is that 9-to-5 salary that you think is comfortable, and learn to build multiple streams, because really what you're wanting to do is purchase or find assets that can pay you dividends in the long run, so you can either scale that or someday retire if that's your goal. Which I think most of us would like to eventually, or at least have the freedom to do the things we want to do. But you can't do that even from a real estate position, even making really good money. If you're making multiple six figures, $200,000-$300,000 a year, the minute you quit selling is the minute that you're broke. Unless you've taken that money and invested it into other things. And there's certain things we're going to talk about today that's going to help you do that.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about.
Okay, I was going to ask
today.
you, can you tell us what we're going to talk about?
The multiple streams of income specifically all relate to running a real estate business. And it, as Brooke said, it goes way beyond just buying and selling real estate, as far as from a real estate agent perspective, just helping people buy and sell. The first thing we're going to talk about is building wealth through investing.
Okay.
Which I think most people have some sort of interest in that, or at least understand that concept of investing in real estate. And there's even within that, there are so many ways to make income, right? Or build wealth, so to speak. And then we're going to talk about how you can lead a real estate team, and we're talking about a traditional real estate team that a lot of people don't understand the true value behind just the concept of leverage. And the third one is coaching a downline, which is a very, very similar concept to building a traditional team, but it's just magnified and less responsibility as far as like what you are expected to provide for agents. From a traditional team perspective, you got people that you're bringing on to do business under your name. From a downline perspective, you are teaching people how to do it for themselves so that they can be you and do exactly what you're doing. And then finally, we're going to talk about the mindset shifts that are required to make all of this happen. Because if you don't change the way that you're thinking, then you're going to be stuck doing the same thing that you've always done. And I think that that's probably the most challenging concept to learn, because as human beings, we get so comfortable doing what we're doing. Even if you've had success in real estate and you're doing well, let's say you are a top producer and you sell a bunch, you want to protect yourself from the burnout that even Brooke talked about, and change the way you think. Be open to changing how you think.
Absolutely.
So let's start with investing.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's a big topic, and there's again so many different avenues to real estate investing. You got just your typical, rent, buy, hold, and rent, right? Some people will buy, they'll move in, for a little bit, and then they will move out and use the equity to buy their next property and rent that property. It's a fantastic way if you have the time and
live
you
in
have
a duplex.
or live in a duplex. If you have the time and flexibility, and sometimes the type of loan that you get forces you to live there for a certain amount of time. You got flipping properties. You have wholesaling properties, which is a controversial topic. And if you do it right, it's a needed product in our industry. The problem is that capitalism, breeds a lot of greed, and people tend to think about their wealth only and not what other people have going on. So a lot of people get taken advantage of.
Is flipping really real estate investing? Because I feel like that's just sales.
Essentially,
it's investing. Yeah, I would consider it
I
investing.
mean, because you can lose money on it.
Yeah. And also flipping, you have to, a lot of times you put work into it. You gotta fix the property up,
I don't know. This is my own opinion, because it's like I looked into flipping a house with somebody once. Unless you get good deals, and I get that there's all this other stuff. I'm not on the real estate investment side, but I was like, how much money am I going to make from that flip? I was like, I'll just go sell another house.
No, I agree.
It's not a long-term play, but it's no different than us investing into an agent who either takes off and sells a bunch or doesn't sell anything. You put time and effort in that person, and then they're a dud.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, to your point, I think putting time into people, it pays off way more in the long run, because if they're not a dud, and even if they're a dud that sells a few houses a year, that's income every year.
Yeah, that's more of a long-term play.
Whereas if you're flipping property, once you flip it, it's done. You gotta actively do another one. And so I don't think flipping property, is not passive unless
I guess
you hire people to do
a GC
everything. You can hire a GC. You can even hire an agent to be the one that finds the properties for you, as long as you're willing to pay the commission on it and all that kind of
now
stuff.
that I'm thinking about it, is a good way, because I guess if you flip it, you get a big chunk, and then you just keep going.
Well, you're raising
100%
capital.
An investment. But I see your point. There are some that you're not going to make very much, and you might lose on some, and it's like, it's going to take maybe 6 months to do this, and all the time and money, the risk that I'm putting into it, when I could have like practically zero risk other than market risk and just go sell a bunch of houses.
Right.
I mean,
that's
it's all about.
I'll just go sell a house.
Yeah.
I mean,
I still want to flip houses.
About risk tolerance,
because
and,
I do think I would really enjoy it and get my hands dirty.
But the problem, I think, for a producer or for a team builder is you're taking away from the time that you could be building your long-term
everything that
goals,
you do,
because you're out swinging a hammer.
I'm like thinking about like flipping at home. I'm like, that's a great time to get away from people.
Right. Well, yeah.
And that's why some people do
you're not
that
at that
instead.
point, but you're not at that point in your life yet, because
I'm
close. You have too much other things going on to disconnect to swing a hammer for 10 hours.
That's fair.
What Casey is talking about in business world is called opportunity costs. Every decision that you make, you are missing out on other opportunities.
Yep.
And whenever, like in business school, they teach you about this all the time. Like, it's one of the first concepts you learn is like the opportunity cost. So if you're going to go do something and go down a path of trying to make income in some project, by spending time on that project, what are you not able to spend your time on doing? And it's all about maximizing your time and the return that you're going to get for your time.
And I think that's really what you were saying.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean,
that was like, I'm like all talking it through. You guys are watching me get mentored on podcast today.
Eventually, Brooke,
or watching my brain figure it out.
Eventually, the team will get to a point where it's growing without you.
Yeah.
And they're being trained without you. I mean, we're a ways away from that, because it's going to require multiple leaders that are training and building their business.
Yeah, I haven't built up enough leaders yet.
Yeah, but once you do, and you're able to step away a little bit from your business, then you have the opportunity to go and do some of these other things.
Well, and that's always kind of been the plan, like with all of this stuff. And I'm actually really excited to talk about all of this on this podcast today, because it's like I want people to think about, and we're talking about mindset too. Open your minds. Like, we're talking about opportunity in your time. Like, I see so many real estate agents, and they go spend 5-10 years in real estate just selling homes, and then that's all they do. They may go buy a rent house here and there and whatever else, but they miss out on building a team and doing different things like that. But I'm like, I'm trying to take it opposite. And I say I probably take a bigger slingshot effect more than anybody else, because I'm focusing on those long-term team people. And I don't want to get too much into that because we're not on that yet. But the point of it is I'm focusing on these people because I'm building all this up, because to Curtis's point, when we do hit that, and I personally hit that, then that is my goal, is to start going and investing in real estate, because they say it, you can read it in multiple books, podcasts, YouTube, whatever. People talk about most millionaires, they need at least 7 streams of income. So I always try to think, I'm like, okay, what streams of income do I currently have? Well, just my real estate, I sell houses, and I coach and train and mentor agents. Those are already just 2 streams of income that I already have. Then you go adding real estate investing and keep adding more and more stuff to this.
You're not even thinking about everything you've added. I mean, we've added lending to that.
So yeah,
we've added title to that,
and school
and real estate school, and it's going to it all adds up, but you know, it just has to be managed right and have the right leadership in place for it to do well.
Yes.
But
I'm trying to like think about it differently. Like, okay, people get into sales, and I'm like, you can go make $500,000 really quick, but I want to make more. I want to make $500,000 a month. The only way to do that is doing it a little bit differently. Well, yes, I'm still chasing sales, but not
in a different approach. It's a leveraged approach, because people who go chase $500,000, and again, we're going to get into this later.
I know.
Later on.
That's why I was like, just trying to make it more towards real estate. It's like,
well, and we are talking about real estate because it's investing in real estate.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. But and you're jumping ahead to how you are investing in real estate, or at least putting your time into it. And it kind of got brought up because, you know, if you go invest in a bunch of real estate right now, then you're taking away from the time that you could be building your leveraged real estate business.
Yes.
That's how we got, you know, onto that. But buying and hold, like, you know, and getting renters is a great way to build wealth. It's not a great way to replace your income necessarily,
right.
Because
that's very long term.
It's very unless you just have cash. But then if you have cash, like how did you get that cash, and how are you replacing that cash?
Yep.
And we do the math for people, and you know, in our model, if you go and build a downline of 7 agents or 42 transactions, you just got to get 40. You got to get 42 people on your downline that sell real estate per year. 42
one transaction, yeah.
42 transactions.
Yeah, but you said you get 42 people that sell one transaction.
Well, no, you got to get enough people that sell 42 transactions a year. I don't care how many it is.
Gotcha.
It could be one person that does 42. It could be 2 people that do 21, and going
but the
down the line.
average sells 5 to 6.
That's
so
why I said
7.
That's why I said 7. That's why I said 7 people.
Yep.
But however you get to your 42, it's the equivalent of owning a free and clear $300,000 property. And so you go and get a rental property and get it paid off. It's going to take you 30 years of a renter paying that down, right? You could apply your cash here and there to pay it down, but there's no point of paying a note down quickly if you have a renter that's doing it for you. Just let them pay it down slowly over time, and you keep your cash invested in other things.
Right.
But in the next year, okay, in the next 6 months, I could go and get 7 people that does 42 transactions way faster than I can go figure out how to just get $300,000 and just cash. Okay,
yes.
Not talking about worth. I'm talking about cold hard cash.
Well, we're talking about
taxable income.
Yeah.
Or talking about this whole podcast episode is getting a 6-figure income or whatever. If you get a 6-figure income, well, that's 3 years that you got to save up just to buy one house to make a
Well,
amount of money.
I did the math, and depending on what you can get in rent, if you find a real estate investment property where you can make $2,000 a month in rent, okay, which that's a pretty high rent in
I was like, that's
most
probably rare,
most
right?
areas. Because
Yeah.
I think most rentals are going to be $1,000 to $1,500. You know, with inflation, it's definitely climbing. Okay, but once you make $2,000 a month gross rent, you're netting 14.4, and that actually, if it's free and clear, if you have to throw in a mortgage payment on top of that, you're probably talking about maybe netting $100-$200 a month per property per month. So let's just say $150 if you find a good property. What's 150 times 12? That's what, 600? It's 1,800. Yeah. So
You like that?
Yeah, you're
I
making.
feel like you just mumbled and you were waiting for Curtis.
No,
to just
I was
answer.
adding it up in my head.
At the same time. At the same time, $1,800 a year
Yeah.
per property that you go get rented with a mortgage. Okay, so if you want to land a six-figure income through rentals, okay, 100,000 divided by 1,800, you need 56 properties where you're making as close to $150 a month on. That's a lot of properties to manage and to go acquire. It's not impossible. You can go do it if a bank will lend you the money.
Yeah.
But that's one way, right? If you're going to be flipping properties, I mean, I don't know what the average revenue is per flip.
yeah.
I mean, let's say you can find a good one. I mean, a good
'cause
one, you're making
so-
$20,000-$30,000 on a flip.
Yeah.
Average, let's say $10,000.
Unless you're watching HGTV, then it's like 150,
50, 60, you're getting these big
200,000.
properties,
Yeah.
you know. But let's say you're able to make
Someone gave them the house.
let's say you're making $15,000. No, let's do 10 for simple math. You got to do 10 flips a year. That's a lot of flips that you're doing per year to make $100,000. Subject to it's a great investment for the investor.
Yes.
It's a fantastic investment for the investor, but it's very frowned upon by a lot of people in our industry. The banks don't like it. They won't accept it. And it's not great for the homeowner. And I'm all,
It's like
for me,
a special scenario.
I don't know what it is. Like, I want to make money where I'm not causing any harm to anyone else. Now,
Well, you want to
It's
make
a
sure that
situation. It's a situation where you can manipulate the seller into getting what you want because of the position that they're in.
and if I have to do
yeah.
that,
No, that,
well,
I couldn't sleep at night.
and I'll tell you, a lot of investors and wealthy people, right? Becoming wealthy is all about market knowledge. Who has the knowledge? Like, if you have more knowledge over other people, then you can, if manipulation is a word you could use,
That's true.
you can manipulate people into doing what you want to make
Let's say-
make money.
we
Yeah.
like to influence.
Influence is a great word, right? That's a better word,
Right.
But when it comes to like subject to, like, I think that again, there's a time and a place for it, because there are people that are
Yeah.
in a situation where that's going to be great for them based on the market and all that, but the rate that people are trying to do it's because investors are so focused on getting a subject to property that they don't care who they're harming in the process, and they will try to do everything in their power to convince you that it's good for you as the homeowner. You better make sure that it's what you need and what you want before you just sign a subject to contract.
What do you
Yep.
think most real estate investors do? Do you think they stick to like one kind, like they're sticking to the Burr method, or they stick to flips, or they stick to buy and hold? Do you think they
There's no
stick
one
to
answer.
something, or
I
do you
do.
think they diversify themselves?
The investors that I know, I do think they diverse a little bit, but most of the investors I know, they specialize in one of the areas, and like they're that because they know it, they're comfortable with it. They know the numbers. They know where things can go wrong. They've been educated on it because they've done it so much that's
Yeah.
what they usually just stick with that. And then they'll diversify and do a project here and there in different areas. Like whenever I meet a true wholesaler, especially one that's licensed, for like all they do is wholesale, and they don't list properties. It doesn't make sense to me how you could be, if you're a wholesaler that's being honest with homeowners, I don't understand why you don't ever come out with listings. Probably because they'll tell you they're referring those out.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't they sometimes make more money if they listed it too?
No.
No,
They make more if they wholesale it.
They make way more for wholesaling. Because the properties that are candidates for wholesaling are typically going to be lower income, lower priced properties. So if you're talking about 3% of a $60,000 property,
That makes sense.
how much is
18 grand.
18 grand.
That makes a lot of sense.
Sorry, 1,800.
$1,800.
Yeah, I'm doing that all day.
Yeah. So that's how much you'll make when you list it. You could probably do a fixed fee and get it up to $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah.
As a wholesale, you're making $10,000-$15,000.
Right.
So the
Wholesaler I talked to, she told me the numbers wrong. I was like, girl, you're going to make a lot more money if you came over and sold houses with me.
I'll tell you. That's why a wholesaler will go to a homeowner and they'll say, we'll pay your realtor. There's no realtor fees. All your closing costs. You don't got to do any repairs. They're gonna do all.
They
of
love
that.
to hear that.
Yeah,
No realtor fees. Are you kidding me? Yeah, sure. I'll give you 25 grand right now for that.
Yeah, but you could list your property and get it sold and not have to do most of that stuff. But you're paying a realtor fee, but it's way less than the wholesaler fee. But they don't do the math for them, and most people are not educated, or I'm not saying that people are dumb. It's just that they hear the thing that sounds nice, they don't do the math, and they get taken advantage of.
Well, so the one a listing that I sold maybe 6 months ago was to this lady who had talked to a wholesaler, and they had a foundation company come out, which was not a good one. They know what they're doing, and then so they're offered her this price based on the home needing $25,000 in structural work. Well, I sent Triton out there, and they're like, "This house is fine. Like
Yeah,
it's old,
that
but it's fine."
happens.
So the commissions she paid me, the 6%, was less than the $25,000 she was going to give them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's the manipulation right there. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
we're going to have to do all this work, and then they're going, oh no.
yeah.
But she was smart enough to just ask her brother, like, hey, do you know a realtor I could talk to you about all this?
Yeah.
And then I went and talked to her, and she's like, oh.
And you gotta be careful about which realtor, because some realtors won't even know to, like, they'll just say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have to do that to get it sold."
That's true.
And then pay 6%. Right? So
Like, let's get second opinions on everything they told you.
Yeah.
Roof is fine, structure is
But
fine.
time is money to people, and we're impatient creatures, and so we don't want to get that second opinion.
Some
Right.
people, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're just.
But they don't realize how much money they're leaving on the table without getting that second
That's
opinion,
right.
which is just wild. So anyways, those are some great ways to invest. You just do the math.
Yeah.
Do the math if you're going to invest in
Find
real
a-
estate.
Put a plan together. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
just start doing stuff.
There's just so much you can do in investing. I feel like so like.
Yeah,
just,
a ton.
Just,
There's no
just
one way.
research the basics and start there.
Yep. Private financing is another way. You could be the one who lends money to people. But
oh yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to building a traditional team. So now we're going to move on to leveraging other agents to build wealth. And I think that a lot of people feel like they understand this, but when it comes down to it, they really don't. And I think so many people get burned out from sales, and they get burned out of people.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, I don't want to be this recruiter person that has to recruit all these people, but yet you still see them trying to recruit people, and there's no benefit for it.
Right.
It's wild. But building a traditional team is bringing people onto your business, and they're now buying and selling under your team name, and so all the sales go under you and your name.
This has been around forever.
Yeah, the traditional team. I mean, people have done this for I don't know how long. I don't know when the first team was created.
Decades.
It's
No,
been a
Gary
long time.
Keller has like his entire book of how to become a millionaire in real estate is how to build a successful real estate team.
You have to do it through a team, because if not, you got to remember, if you chase sales, and a lot of people, they're just chasing sales and they're chasing the split. Okay. So if you go and you chase the split and you get as close to 100% as possible on the sales that you're making, then that leaves you with not very much money to make when other people come in to try to do sales. Right. So the brokerage is going to they got to stay in business. Right.
Late 90s, by the way.
And so that's when the first team was made. Interesting. I thought it would have been before that. I would have thought the 80s.
Oh, it says late 90s.
Even I would have thought even late 70s, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Good job looking that up so quickly.
Thanks, man.
Tutor.
Chat GPT.
Yeah.
You haven't named it yet?
No.
What?
That's not what this episode's about.
Oh.
Naming your chat GPT?
But I lost my train of thought. But you gotta leverage people. If you chase the split and chase 100%, then it's all about how many sales you can do every single year, right? And most people, when they don't want to give up some of the split for the sake of building long-term wealth, because it's going to take too long, and how much money they got to give up before they get there. But at the end of the day, you get 10 years in, and what if you're like ready to quit? And most people think, oh, that's not going to happen to me. But then you get burned out real quick.
And the whole time, they're giving up money in that process trying to chase that. Like, it's whenever they sign up for a flat fee of $400, like, oh man, 100%, $400 transaction, man, that's awesome. And then they go sell 50 houses, and they're like, oh crap, I just paid in, I'm not doing the math, like over $20,000. And it's like, yeah, you could have gotten a lower cap anywhere else. Yeah. And then so they switch. And then this whole time they're chasing something that they never really just sat down and put numbers to.
Pen to paper. I see it happen all the time. And I mean, even the agent that sells 30 and they're under what a cap would be, it's like, there's a value to, chasing the split is just something that people do. But what they're doing is they're just chasing more sales, and we're all after freedom of our time, freedom to be with our families, to do our hobbies and our interests, and not have to work all the time. We all say like, I want to work when I want to work, not because I have to work, right? And it takes time to build that. But to do it in real estate, you have to leverage people, and through a traditional team, a traditional team is a great way because you can bring people in on lower splits than you are, and make the structure to where you're getting a really decent override or whatever you want to call it,
30 to 50%, and now you don't go show a house ever again.
The problem is that you are limiting. So in sales, you're limiting yourself to yourself. In a traditional team, this is not a bad limitation. You can make $1 million in any market that you're in if you build a team. But you're limiting yourself to your local market.
Yes.
Right. And the third option is to build a downline where you are now coaching and teaching people to do what you do and to do it in their name, not in your name. Right. And you are now the sky is the limit. Now you can build across the world if you get to a point where, there are brokerages out there that are across the world, but, like let's look at our brokerage, right? If you're really good at building people and influencing people and building relationships, like you could be at the beginning of opening up another country or another state, and being the leader over all of that. Like, these other brokerages that are using their big pockets to grow and buy agencies and buy people and getting agents in with their money, all of that is going to them, right? And the opportunity is now getting less and less and less. I mean, the biggest one that we can probably think of that does downline building and revenue sharing, and there's a bunch of things that are branched off from them, right? The opportunity is limited with those brokerages. So you go join it, you're now at the bottom of the pyramid that people like to call it, and you can still
and you're helping the person at the top,
and you're helping the person at the top as opposed to taking the opportunity to do it yourself.
What I find interesting about downline building is, and what you need to be careful of whenever you're presented these opportunities is, I heard a statistic one time of like 99.95 or something like that percentage of people do not read their insurance policies.
Oh gosh, yes.
So we figured out that no one reads anything.
Yeah.
And so when a lot of these other downline building companies are selling you on their model, they just make whatever numbers up they want.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, there's one right now online all over saying this fellow has recruited like 40 people on his downline and he's making like $400,000 a month.
I know what ad you're talking about. I've commented on that.
Yeah,
seen
and
that
it's like really.
No, they're full of it. It's impossible. The math is impossible.
It is.
And unless they're talking about the person's individual sales. But then I saw a new one come out and that said, like on top of their individual sales, they've recruited 40 agents and they're making $500,000 a month or something crazy. I'm like,
the heck?
They're like the brokerage doesn't even make that off of 40 people.
Right.
Especially if there's a cap involved.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So that's my whole point though, is just like, be careful when you're being recruited into those models. Make sure that those numbers are real.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We share them realistically.
And sometimes it's more than just reading the numbers. Sometimes you got to read the words to understand the numbers.
Yeah.
So,
what are you getting? What's the culture? What what type of people are working there? What are the leadership like? There's so many different aspects.
but
that
talking
goes into
about
it.
limiting like traditional teams and why it's so limiting is because so many people, and it's still good. Like I know plenty of people that have a traditional team and they have it. They have Zillow Flex or whatever it may be, and they're happy and they've built it, and that's great. But for some people, and how I look at it, it's still very limiting because people always want to promote. People always want to do better, I think, for the most part. I don't know if there's a percentage on how many people actually want to be better in their lives. They at least have that idea, and they may go and try to chase it. Yeah. They may not always work for it. Yeah. But they may go chasing after it. Whereas like if you have a traditional team and you're bringing people on, you're holding them down to like a lower split. Well, people are going to want a higher split. Maybe they want to be you, or whatever the case may be. You lose those people, and it's a constant in and out battle on top of the fail rate of 87%. So that means for every 100 people that you bring onto your traditional team, there's a very good possibility that 87 of them are going to fail in that next 5 years.
And then the 13 that are left, if depending on how well they're doing,
another 5 years.
That, or they're going to leave because they want to be you. They want to do their own thing.
Yeah, that goes back to my other comment about people not reading their insurance policies. They say, hey, do you want to join my team? I'll give you free leads. Or they're like, I'm in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they get their paycheck and they're like,
yeah, it wasn't free.
And again, it's
they're like, what is this?
mirrors.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
That client drugged me through the mud.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, of course they did.
It's just
how
smoking
it works.
mirrors. It's like that. To me, that's just sales.
If
you're
run
just bringing people on, whereas revenue share, you're building a business, because now your business isn't so limited. So here's somebody right here, and they're not stuck at 50% commission. They can work their way up, and now I get to teach them to be me. And now they're going to go bring on people underneath them, and then they're going to train those people to bring on people underneath them. So it's so much stronger. And now, instead of having a traditional team in this local market, now I've built a downline and a team in Florida. I have sales and I get paid from stuff in Florida. I have stuff in Texas, in Tulsa, in all these different areas. And now people are they're being me. So they're out there, they're having all these conversations, and my team is growing naturally because we've just empowered everybody to be it. And it's just going to keep going for forever.
It's all about how you're wired to. I mean, because there are some people that do the traditional team, and like we said, they're very, very successful.
Yeah.
So in fact, when you go look at the top names, like when you run a production report, whoever did the most sales over the last 12 months, a lot of the names that show up on there, they're either doing builder entry only stuff, or they have a really successful team, and the team is putting everything underneath them, and they are very content with running things in their local market and being the person in their local market, and they're making good money, and they still have a business that is valuable.
Sure. Because then people go to that business. Like,
Yeah.
I know realtors all the time, they get their license and they know exactly they're going to go hang their license at that
because of the volume
that
they see
and what they've
Yeah.
done. So that's why I'm not discrediting it by any means. If anything, I'm just like, for me, I think further than that, you know?
Well, yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, because you could do more. You could, the sky is the limit. And if you're willing to build it, then It
If
could
you wanna
you could have
stay here, then
teams
stay
everywhere.
here,
Yeah,
and make good money.
Yeah.
But I want
It's
to
just not for everyone.
I think it's freaking cool when we go to Florida, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm over here. I just went to a FISBO on the beach with the
Yeah.
palm tree. What are you doing today? You know?
You didn't go to a FISBO on the beach. You don't do that. You're not licensed there, Brooke.
No, but I went
You
to
coached
shadow.
them. You
Yes.
coached them. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not selling real estate in Florida.
Yeah. So yeah, the downline is just, again, it's an exponential growth. You're teaching people to be you, and like that's how I think too, along the lines of Brooke. It's like, because if I'm going to be coaching somebody, the last thing I want to do is to be building a brokerage and bringing agents in and leveraging other agents' sales so that I can make income. And I saw a meme the other day. It was like, so happy that I worked hard for this sale and gave my brokerage money who does nothing, right?
Yeah.
That person clearly has never been a broker before, but the perception is still there for
Yes.
a lot, and a lot of brokers do nothing. They've been able to, but if you leverage a lot of people in, I mean, you can't do that if you're a nobody or if you haven't been successful in real estate. But the point is that if I'm coaching people, I don't want to coach them to just go sell, because that's not what I'm doing. I want to teach them how to transition themselves out of sales and grow, because if someone just wants to do sales, then great. Let's teach you how to maximize your income, and the way you do that is you have to, once you maximize how many transactions you can do a year, now you got to increase your price point.
Yeah.
Or you got to charge more for your services, because I know some people that 3%, they laugh at that. I'm not doing anything unless it's 4%.
Yeah.
And people will pay it if you can show them the value of working with you. The traditional team is very localized, and it's all under your name. And to Brooke's point, you're constantly battling replacement. Or if you show enough value to people and build relationships, you can have strong people that stay with you forever.
Oh, 100%. There's a person and a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
Like there really is. Like you can totally find those people.
Yeah. And then if you're making good money through your production, through your team or whatever, then take it and invest it in real estate.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people I know join teams, and that's how they build their wealth. Is they love being on the team that they're on, and then they go and invest in real estate.
Yeah, maybe you grow a team to make you a couple $100,000 a year, and then you start taking some of that money, putting it into your flips, and then you're a pro flipper, and now you're selling a flipping calculator on your Instagram, building up another revenue stream, and that's what's kind of cool about it too. Is like you never know what you're going to end up doing.
Yes.
You kind of navigate this path as long as you're open to opportunity, and you want to grow, and you think like a business owner or an entrepreneur, you'll think of something that works for you.
That's the good mindset to have. It's just like I said before, just be super open minded, because I say the same thing you just said, Casey.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
What? What'd I say?
Casey. Now I lost my train of thought.
That's what you get.
To make it six figures, if you're building
Curtis.
Oh, the mindset.
Okay, mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, mindset. You just got to have an open mindset, because you really, I tell everyone, like I joke all the time. I'm like, I had no idea when these guys first told me to go recruit somebody, I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. Told me to go get these many people, and I was like, that sounds crazy, but I had no idea where I never would have imagined I'd be at where I'm at today. So like, just stay open-minded and just dabble. Or you're in real estate, there's so much that you can learn. And if you're in real estate, it's probably to build wealth for you and your family.
Yeah.
That's why most people get into real estate, I think.
Here's my advice to you, Brooke. No, I'm just kidding. This is advice to everybody. Or these are the see, now you got me
I
off.
got you
Mind
doing
shift
it.
shifts.
Mindset.
Mindset shifts that I've had to learn, and they're really hard for me. Was quit playing the victim. And when you're 9 to 5, that's very easy to do.
Oh gosh,
so
yeah.
you got to quit playing the victim.
Quit comparing.
Quit comparing. There's no guarantees in life for anything.
Nothing.
Quit seeking comfort.
I guarantee you.
Because it's not there.
I guarantee you.
And abundance over scarcity.
Yes, I think those are good. I got goosebumps.
I guarantee.
Those are so good.
I guarantee. I want to guarantee something.
Okay, do
Words
it.
are hard today.
Oh no, Casey was finishing his things and I was interrupting and it wasn't cool, but I was doing it anyways.
Okay. Well, we're excited.
I guarantee, and this is gonna be stupid now. I was like, I guarantee I take my next breath.
Wow.
You're like, there's no guarantees
Do
in
not
life,
do that.
but I shouldn't do that. You're right.
That's not
gosh.
funny. Let's not joke about stuff like that.
Yeah,
Tell us your guarantee.
that was my guarantee.
That was it?
Because Gay said there's no guarantees in life, and I was like, I guarantee I take my next breath. You know.
Well,
I can
you
guarantee
couldn't
that.
guarantee
But
it,
no,
but you got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the point is,
Odds
I
were good
can't-
for you.
I can't guarantee it forever.
Right.
That's true.
You know. So that's your point.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for that comfort. And I always told myself, as soon as I make 6 figures, actually, I told myself, as soon as I made 75 grand, I would never complain about money again.
Yeah.
I heard something.
Totally said
I
the
heard
same
something
thing.
funny. Well, actually, not funny. Actually, pretty sad. But it was also it's going to help me with my next mind
set shift.
shift. Is $100,000 is the fastest way to go broke.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because you get comfortable.
Yep, that's what
and
I
you
was gonna
start.
say. That's
Oh.
exactly
You
what I was
start.
gonna say.
You start buying cars
things
and
and,
debts and things
yeah.
you don't need.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair.
And the next thing now you're having to keep up with this.
Yeah, that's fair.
And instead you should have look at that money and say, how can I grow this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the moment.
And I'm fighting that.
The
Yeah.
moment that you're
Currently.
comfortable is like if you feel comfortable, then you are dying essentially, like not physically, but
It's-
your business is, because the only way to get to do more and to grow is to be, if you're not uncomfortable, then you are not growing.
You have to go against the perception of reality in the world around
Take
you.
risk.
Because like I saw somebody made I saw this video, and it's a little political but not really, but it was talking about how like people that make this certain amount of income, all the programs and stuff that's out there, it's literally designed to keep them at that level.
Yeah.
Whereas like the middle class, all we worry about is our credit scores, so that way we can impress other people, so we can go into debt and whatever else.
Yep.
Whereas the rich is over here changing a different mindset. But anyways.
Mindset is everything, and in a lot of ways, you got to have the right mindset, and
People
it's
just
hard to
think
know what
differently.
mindset you got to be in to be at a certain level, 'cause if you haven't lived it, which is why I think everyone needs to be open to mentorship. You got to have mentorship. Without it, then
Or just
you're
go
lost.
find somebody that you want to be like.
Yeah.
Or that you're curious. Social media, we're in the world of social media, YouTube, everyone's on making all kinds of stuff, which doesn't always mean that they're true. That is true. But go find somebody and just message them and go have coffee with them. Go have lunch. That could be the coffee or lunch that changes your entire perspective on life.
You become the average of the people you hang out with.
I always say I started reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I swear that's what changed my life, because it started changing my mindset.
Yep.
And talking about the differences of going back to what I was saying about the perception, the different levels, like that's what you're competing against, right? So like I lived in a middle class family, and we were here. We loved credit card debt. Credit scores was a thing, and I had to change my mindset and learn that that was not the way to live life. There's another way to think about things. And so
That's right.
that's all she
Excellent.
wrote. So recap. So real estate investing, being able to build a team through a traditional team, revenue share, and then really just the biggest thing is always mindset shift. If your mind's not right, then you're not going to be able to do anything. If your mind is right, that's probably the hardest thing and what prevents anybody from doing anything out there.
That's why we say that real estate's a lifestyle, because the people that are all they play the whole victim mindset, and that's why they don't call people back. Because they're struggling, they're down, and they can't muster up the courage to call this person.
Yep.
Like you've got to get your head right if you want to do real estate and be successful at it. Now, there's some people that can't do that and they still make a lot of money, and I don't know
Well,
how, but
And we say that like it's not something where your mind just becomes right, because
you'll never get there,
It's something you got to constantly do.
and you'll have setbacks, and
Yeah.
life
You have
happens.
moments like I'll have days where I hate life and I just want to quit and go freaking stock groceries again for a living. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, Oh, just kidding.
That'd be the dumbest thing I've ever
That'd
done.
be so dumb. But I do have days I wish I could just go stock groceries.
Right.
If that ever happened, I'd be like so heartbroken. But then I'd be like, wait a second. There goes a leg with a lot of people.
Yeah.
They would all stay.
I thought
I would
about
get
that
so
going back to
business-
barbering, and I start
so
doing
busy.
I started doing the math of how much I could make, and I'm like, oh, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Oh, no
No.
way that would ever work.
No.
All right, guys. Well, as we come to an end, thank you all for listening. We really appreciate you spending the time with us today. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for future notifications. I'm Casey Tudor. This is Curtis Haddock. And this is Brooke
Message.